Doing? Have you felt something weird going on lately? I know that several people have. I've talked to several people about it, and they're like, "Yeah, something's weird." I mean, even the sky looks different, and I look at a lot of different stuff. I mean, I am constantly working. All the time, constantly working. I don't have any fun time. My kids are grown now. I do have my granddaughter that I spend time with, but even then, I usually got something going on for work, and so I'm always working, whether I'm talking with a client, whether I'm sending out the emails for my clients, making up work, because each client is different. So even though I have the groups, where I do like the 30, 90, 30, 60, 90 day things, I still like to add in something that's going to benefit the individual. So like if you come to me and you say, I'm good. I have a hard time talking with people. Even if you're in the group program, which I would suggest, going to a personal one, but even if you're in the group one, I'm going to try to integrate something in there that would be specifically for you. I'll give it to everybody, but it would be something specifically to help you. Now, I am of the absolute belief that this is just a short blip in our existence, this realm here. Now, I know that it can be all consuming when something negative, especially, happens. Um, it can be all consuming and it can kind of take us over. And then we almost forget. It's like we have this eternity amnesia. And what matters is now. Absolutely, I need that money right now. I need that person to call me right now. I need that job right now. Those kinds of things. And we tend to forget what's really important. Happens to all of us. We have some people that claim to be so highly evolved that that doesn't happen. And I just call BS on that because I think, yeah, they might be able to slip back quickly, more quickly. But I think everybody kind of gets that if it's even for a moment, right? I mean, it may not be something that lingers with them, but even if it's just for a moment, I think everybody gets that. So the higher that we evolve, the higher that we raise our frequency, the more likely we are to be able to snap back, right? Back into the right frame of mind. Because, it's so true, as a man thinketh he is. The higher we evolve, the more we're going to be able to slip into a state of forgiveness and gratitude easier because we find out, we discover, or rediscover, I should say, what's really important. Like if you look at a baby, for instance, and that's why I say rediscover, because I mean, we have the infancy where they're absolutely 100% dependent. So we go from that stage, okay, so that stage is perfect innocence, right? But then when they get a little bit older, look at how trusting they are. Look at how everything is brand new and exciting. And I mean, you could give them a box and they're excited and they're happy and they're going to figure out how it goes together. And somewhere along the line, we lose that and we get caught up in this world. Now we have a choice. We could be either imprisoned by this realm, and that may look different from the outside than it does from within. So a spiritual minded person, an eternity minded person might look at this person that is imprisoned in this realm and actually feel for them and have compassion for them. Where a worldly minded person might look at them and say, they've got it all. They have everything there is to have. But if you really get to know that person, not everybody, but chances are, if they're not spiritually minded and they're only worldly minded, they're not happy. They're not living in a peace. There's never enough. That's the thing. There's never enough. So they can gain all the wealth. They can have all the security. They can know that they can retire and travel the world and still have plenty. But there's still not enough. There's still not that peace. And you'll find that a lot of times they're bitter, they're angry, they hold on to things. And why is that? If other people, the little people, so to speak, will look and say, well, they seem to have it all. What could that be? And what it is this worldly mindset. They are imprisoned by this realm. Now, we're all only here for a short time. Let's say 100 years, okay? And most of us don't make it that far. Some make it a little bit further. But let's say 100 years. Do you want to live in prison for 100 years? Or do you want to walk free? Do you want to have the experiences that you're meant to have? Do you want to live the existence that you're supposed to live. It's really all a choice. It's up to us. I mean, I know there's a mindset that we chose ahead of time before we even got here. I used to wholeheartedly believe that. I'm not so sure now. I know that there are certain experiences that we do set out to have on a soul level, and maybe that, okay, that goes along with that. We chose before we got here way of thinking. But I can look back on my growth and I can see that I think completely different than I used to. And I know that a lot of the stuff that I used to believe was a big deception, it's a big lie. And I kind of fell into that for a short time, and I am so grateful that I'm out of that belief system now. So let's just say, just for an experiment, you want to do like a little experiment and see, are you imprisoned? Are you wrapped up in the prison? Have you locked yourself in a cell and there's no way out? And that can happen to, it doesn't matter what social level you're at. You can be poor and still trap yourself in. You can be very wealthy and lock yourself in. You can have a great family. You can, I'm not talking about caring about like people and stuff like that. I mean, you can be a great humanitarian and still be locked in. I'm talking about your soul. Are you here worldly thinking, or are you here having an experience? Are you experiencing what you're meant to experience? Are you experiencing it to the fullest, or have you imprisoned yourself? It all depends on our choices, like I said. So we can try this little experiment. And I'm sorry, I tend to lag. I know. I'm really sorry about that. If I'm losing you, I'm sorry. But try this just for 24 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours. I'm saying 24 hours because that'll give you enough time to really kind of process it. But you can do it in 8 hours if you want. Um, so if you're not already eternally minded, and even if you think you are, just do this experiment to see if you really are. So think about something you want to manifest, and it's something you want to manifest now. I mean, if you want to be like, this famous actor or actress, it's not going to happen overnight because certain things take time, but you want to manifest, I don't know. Think of something you can manifest easily and quickly. A car, a certain amount of money, somebody calling you, whatever. Okay, you can manifest somebody calling you. That interferes with somebody's free will. But what you can do, you can't necessarily make sure they call you. But what you can do is put it out there so that they get your message, and in turn, if they're open, if they hear you, they will call you, or they'll choose to call you. Like I said, we can't infringe on somebody's free will, but we can put it out there. I have a video on telepathy, and you can very easily message people no matter where they are around the world, even if you have no idea where they are. That's a whole other subject. Like I said, find my video on telepathy if you want, and you can try that. I'll see if I can find a card and put it up there so that you can just click on it. I'm not real good at this technology stuff, but I'm trying. So anyway, so envision whatever it is you want to manifest, and you go through the whole deal. And again, you can do that part quickly. Just get yourself relaxed, raise your vibration up, envision this, whatever it is, $2,000. Okay, envision it and bring see yourself, if it's money, see yourself looking in your account and depositing it. Sorry about my dog. Or with the cash in your hand, or whatever it is. If it's a car, envision you driving the car. If it's the phone call, envision yourself talking with the person, whatever it is. So really get to a point where you feel it. You know what, it always helps to be grateful. See, great gratitude will open your heart. It'll help things come to pass quicker. So now you have your vision, you bring it down in your hands, bring it into an energy ball, see yourself in there, and kind of toss it out there knowing that it's going to happen. Okay, so you've done that. And now I want you to, for the next, say, 24 hours, and like I said, you can do it less than if you want, if you're more open, if you're more aware. And now I want you to totally get in the mindset of eternity minded. So when you're thinking of eternity, remind yourself every time you get fear based or something about this world, stuff of this world, stuff that's not going to matter when you're dead. That's basically how you can judge what's of this world and what's of eternity. If it's not going to matter when you're no longer here, it's of this world. Okay. And what would that be? That would be stuff. That would be material stuff for the most part. What we call security, financial security, that's not going to matter. I mean, it may matter to our legacy, it may matter to our children. What does matter after we're dead is how people look at us. Well, and I don't want to say that because that's wrong, because we're not supposed to care what people think of us, but the legacy we've left on the world, the impact we've left on the world. Did you leave your footprint? Did you leave your fingerprint? Relationships, did you change someone's life? Did you bring someone to God? Your relationship with God, those kinds of things are what's going to matter after you leave this physical realm. So if it's if it's other than that, it's of the world. And like, what people aren't gonna, are people remembering what you wore, what you looked like, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. That's worldly stuff. And if that's what you're focused on, chances are you're fear driven, and that's what I'm getting at. So if you're living a fear driven life, you're living in imprisonment. So every time you catch yourself thinking for the next 24 hours worldly, excuse me, like about my retirement, even physical, thank you for reminding me, physical manifestations, physical illnesses, those sorts of things. And I'm not saying don't take care of yourself. Of course, we're supposed to take care of our vessel. But if that's all you're focused on, that's of this world again. Okay. So I guess it's the level of importance. So when you catch yourself doing that, quick question, is it going to matter when I'm gone? Okay, so just keep thinking eternity minded. And what's going to happen if you're eternity minded is you're going to start focusing and caring about things of a different nature. Is it going to matter when I'm gone? Like, is it going to affect me? Like, if I had to have a life review today, if God himself came down and said, I want to show you your life review, am I going to be afraid of that? Or am I going to be like, okay, all right, show me where I was wrong, show me where I was right, but knowing with good conscience that there's nothing that's going to come up that I'm like, oh boy, I don't want to have to face this. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so every time you start thinking worldly, start thinking eternity, and do that for 24 hours and observe. Just observe what happens. Who comes into your life? What kind of things pop up in your life, on the radio, on the television, on the computer? What do people say to you? What are the topics of conversation? What happens from the littlest thing? Because what you're going to do is, we get messages every day. It's like we're downloaded all these messages. And if you're of a worldly mindset, you're downloading messages that are corrupting the system, that are, a warning virus, right? But if you're of an eternal mindset, your perception, your focus goes somewhere else, and you're gonna see the messages that pertain to your manifestation. You're gonna see the messages that pertain to your soul stuff at a soul level, soul wounds. The negative might come about, which happens all the time, which we've talked about before. Just before you're about to manifest something, those negative entities present you with people, with situations, with events that are going to bring up those soul wounds and try to stop and block your manifestation. Those things might happen. Remember, you're in observation mode, so you're going to be seeing this. You're going to download what you choose to download and throw away the rest. Now what I want you to do is, I want you to record somehow those observations. Write it down in a notebook, talk into your phone or your dictaphone, whatever it is, recorder or whatever. Record it, think about it, and watch how fast your manifestation comes to pass. It kind of takes out that time delay, because if this world, see, if you can think eternally minded, you realize that this world becomes more of an illusion than anything else. And if it's just an illusion, we can change it. I know it sounds crazy to those that are, you know, those that are not quite there yet. but just give it a shot and let me know what happens. Okay. I really believe that if you can reprogram yourself to start thinking eternally minded and start thinking about what's going to matter in eternity. And you know what? Humor me. If you don't believe in the afterlife, if you don't believe that there is an eternity, if you don't believe in God, usually you wouldn't be watching me, but if you are and you don't believe in that, that's okay. Humor me just for those 24 hours. What if? Think eternally minded and tell me how quickly you manifested what it is you put out there. Okay? Have a great day, guys.